Okay, the recording is in progress. So many of you have attended both the sessions in the morning. It is very heartening to see some similar faces present at all the three meetings that you have actually taken out time for the same. Okay, yes, we are good to go. Seems okay. Yes, now it is okay. So let me just check it online whether I'm live or not, and then we can begin. Okay, great. So, friends, welcome officially to the last session of the day, last of this season. A couple or maybe 2 or 3 sessions will happen on 12th of August, which is my dad's birthday. So, otherwise, the webinars are done for the season one for this half of the year, of course. Maybe in the late winters, maybe we'll have a few of them. Not really sure at this point of time, but yes, short videos will keep on coming where the audience engagement would not be there at my end. There will be small snippets being shared in the form of small sweet spot videos along with a few podcasts which I'm planning to record in the coming month or so. Of course, that has been Dr. Raghu's idea suggested to me 3 to 4 months back, and I have been on it, and it is in the phase where it will get implemented very soon. So, welcome to this session. The topic is new changes from July 1 in the Income Tax Act. The rules that are changing. There are quite a few of them, and quite a few of them concern us as doctors as well. So, as usual, all my presentations always begin with thanking the Lord Almighty who's given me much more than what I deserve. And of course, because of him, we are celebrating this mini day of education. He was a true artist in that sense that he actually was magical and was responsible for changing life of so many people in his lifespan. So thank you, Dad. Miss you always. So this is my brief CV. All are aware of it by now. So the topic for today is new changes from July 1 in Income Tax Act. Some are good, some are bad, some are average, but there is no choice. You have to accept all of them. Do we have a choice? No. So one of the major things that is coming up is for us is Section 194R. Section 192, 194 in Income Tax Act are pertaining to TDS only. 192 pertaining to salary TDS. 194 it has been modified quite a bit number of times, adding the construction work, the construction payment, and so many TDS sections has been added in the previous 1.5 year. But a new section, even 194S has been inserted before 194R was. 194 basically affects us. I'll be discussing all those 8-9 changes that are going to happen. Not all from the Income Tax Act, but many of them from the Income Tax Act. So the first thing is the TDS on cryptocurrencies. Of course, it became applicable. The crypto tax was applicable from 1st of April in retrospective space, but the TDS will also start being levied at the rate of 1%. So those of you who are not aware of it, many of you have done my finance workshop, so you understand that TDS is not a crime. TDS is a tax liability less on your head. Let's suppose आपने 100 रुपए देना income tax को as income tax. If you pay advance tax of let's suppose 70 rupees, so you are left with 30 rupees to be paid on the self-assessment tax which you will pay in the month of July when you file your ITR. But since you have paid lesser amount of tax, you may incur some amount of penalty and late fee. So that means you will not pay 70 plus 30, you will pay 30 plus maybe 5 or 10 rupees extra, just as an example. So in this case, if, for example, your total tax liability still turns out to be 100 and you have paid 70 advance tax and maybe rupees 20 has been deducted as TDS. So now you will still need to pay only 10 rupees plus the penalty, maybe 1 or 2 rupees. This is how the TDS works. TDS अगर कट गया तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It is a portion of the tax that you were anyways supposed to pay, and TDS has taken care of that. Now, the different earlier when the TDS was launched in 2012, there was you can say no ambiguity. There was ambiguity over what rate should be charged. So at that point of time, the minimum slab that existed was 10%. Right now it is 5%, but at that point of time it was 10%. So a standard tax deduction of TDS was placed at 10%. कि कोई भी इंसान रिटर्न फाइल करेगा तो इतना तो कम से कम टैक्स देगा ही ना. उस वक्त 87 A rebate was never in the range of 12,500. The maximum 87 A rebate went was, as far as I can remember, is 7,000. It used to be 2,000, 3,500, 5,000, different for ladies, different for men also at one point of time, 5,000, 7,000 is the latest, is the maximum that I remember. Ever since 2017 or 18, when 87A 12,500 was introduced, it practically meant that up to 5 lakh income is almost zero tax. So we need to understand that TDS is a portion of the tax that you were anyway supposed to pay. So what happens is, via TDS, these kind of incomes are brought into the notice. Anyways, with the Aadhaar PAN linking happening, anything cannot escape the eye of the department now. As I explained and showed to you, a few of you who attended in the morning, the post office interest, the time deposits of the post office, and the saving bank deposits are also visible in the latest AIS. Of course, still not complete. It is still a WIP work in progress. But yes, in coming days, probably the AIS will further improve. And once it gets stable, automatically it will be replaced by 26 AIS will be replaced by AIS totally. Imagine it was launched in last year with a retrospective date from 1920 on 31st, around about holy holidays. Then the next financial year came, next financial AIS of 2021 came in October end, just before Diwali. And this year it has come almost on time, encompassing so many new things. So the work is being done. There is a lot of progress that has been made in the past, I would say 15 months, because March was holy, March end, and June start it came. Rather, in 14 months, there has been a lot of progress made in AIS. So yes, more things would be added. There will be LTCG section would be more clear. The grandfathering concept would be there. Again, everybody is not, you can say, redeeming those assets which are old. Some of them have assets which are, you can say, not pertaining to the grandfathering concept. Grandfathering is where the LTCG cutoff date was 31st Jan 2018. So what exactly is important is that they are bringing everything to the table so that you cannot escape the news, which is considerably tightening now after, you can say, so many years of warning you now. The only thing for self-employed is left is their own income, which they always show in limited numbers. But if you are investing regularly, you need a wide income, or if you are getting a borrowed income from your parents as gift and whatever, then your balance sheet automatically should be justified for that. So for NFTs, non-fungible tokens, people like Amitabh Bachchan made a quick fortune last year. Many more celebrities as well. So NFTs would also be chargeable since they also fall in the category of VDAs, virtual digital assets. So the section 194, you can say, S was introduced much after before the R was. It was introduced earlier. The crypto was introduced in the budget itself, but 194 R came right now. So the tax of transfer, you can say, if the PAN number is not clear, it will not be 1%. It will be 20% tax. It will be deducted. So sometimes a higher rate of 1% would be there if the individual has not submitted the return. Those who are filing the return, for them the TDS is 1%. If somebody is not filing the ITR, his TDS is 5%. So that comes to notice. Then the threshold limit is 50,000 per year for person, specified person. If that threshold of TDS crosses that, means अगर 1% है, तो आप सोचिए into 100 कर लीजिए 50,000 को, 50 लाख की क्रिप्टो करेंसी है आपके पास, या 50 लाख के गेन की क्रिप्टो करेंसी है. सीधी सी बात है, इनकम टैक्स विल डू द ऑडिट. इतना पैसा आया कहां से? So whatever the reason you might be filing a return, the numbers will have to be synced now. So this is the beauty of this system. Number two, which affects us, 194R, influencers like YouTube, people like me also, when we start having free flowing income from YouTube channel, music bands, doctors, dentists, liable to 10% of TDS. अब कौन सा TDS लगना हमें देखिए. So when we receive benefits perquisites above rupees 20,000 in a year from business or profession, so it can be in the form of samples, medicine samples. Their value will be calculated and they'll be added into your income in a way. If that crosses 20,000, it will be deducted and added into your income. You have to show it as PGBP, professional gains from business and profession. Profit and gains, sorry, profit and gains from business or profession. So those who have done the workshop, they know the schedule BP is about business and profession. So 194R section has been inserted, which comes into force from tomorrow onwards. So what it is, the perquisites or aggregate value 20,000. I've given a lot of examples, so don't worry. This is the lengthiest point. I'm going to spend some time on it. So the benefits should be arising from business or exercise of profession by such resident. MR आपके पास इसलिए आता है बिकॉज आप डॉक्टर हो. तो सैंपल्स दे के जाए, गिफ्ट दे के जाए, पैकेज दे के जाए, आपको ट्रिप दे के जाए, कुछ भी दे के जाए, उसकी टैंजिबल वैल्यू द कंपनी विल हैव टू पुट इट. कंपनी उसको राइट ऑफ कर देती थी एज गिफ्ट्स लिख के, गिफ्ट्स टू डॉक्टर्स, सैंपल्स टू डॉक्टर्स लिख के, दे यूज्ड टू गेट अ टैक्स हॉलिडे. But no longer this will be there. They also have to disclose the income, and we are not their Fufa's brother or Fufa's son that they will exempt us. So if the value is less than 20,000, then there is no TDS, which practically means a little less than 2,000 rupees per month. So if a private doctor is receiving samples from drug maker company and cost of all such samples, so don't be afraid if from now on the company start writing the cost also on the samples. Although a few companies already used to do it, but the samples used to come in the, you can say, packing of 2 or 4 maybe sometimes. Rarely a few companies come with a full strip of 10 tablets or 10 capsules and still written the cost and still written on below that physician sample not to be sold. So all these costs will attract 10% TDS. If the doctor is employed at a private hospital, TDS will be levied on the hospital. But it is not applicable on government entities. गवर्नमेंट डॉक्टर जो मर्जी सैंपल रिसीव करे, दैट इज फॉर पुअर पेशेंट्स, उसकी इनकम में ऐड नहीं होगा, ना हॉस्पिटल की गवर्नमेंट की इनकम में ऐड होगा. प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल की इनकम में ऐड होगा. अगर प्राइवेट क्लिनिक है तो प्राइवेट क्लिनिक वाले के ऐड होगा. सो द न्यू rule of 194 has a few pointers. The TDS is applicable who's on the residents only, of course. It can be in cash, kind, or arising from BP, business and profession. TDS at 10% and TDS before providing such benefit. So everything is going to be accountable. See, slowly, in the past 2-3 years, you're seeing everything is getting accountable. You can't ask कि मेरी मम्मी को दवाई चाहिए, मेरे father को दवाई चाहिए, or whatever reason. Sometimes we misuse the companies, even in the name of our parents or family. Sometimes, not all of us, but a few of us. Everything is going to be accountable from now on, at least from the company end. The company will need to have, I think they'll have to maintain a logbook or something on a software, on a tab, which they might be, yeah, I have provided this much number of samples to the doctor. So be wary of everything. So capital asset, the deductor means the company is required to deduct tax wherever the benefit is provided. So now you will, what does it mean? ये जो आपको सैंपल्स मिलेंगे, उनकी वर्थ आपको जब आएगी, उसको आप अपनी इनकम में ऐड करेंगे, and then you will pay tax on it. What seems as the clarity to me. I'm not really sure about this aspect, but this is what the clarity seems to me. There is no TDS if it does not cross 20,000, but even if it is less than 20,000, that means it is our income in that sense, maybe in kind, because the worth will be given by the company only, that this much worth of samples given to the doctor. So it is kind of a gain which is arising from the business and profession. So any sales discount, any cash discount, any rebates or less, you can say, जो आप कुछ परचेज करते हैं, कोई डीलर देता है आपको, कोई लैब देती है आपको, then there will not be a applicability of 194R. Since these are not gains, these are discounts. अगर कोई लाख रुपए की चीज खरीदता है 90,000 की लेता है, तो वो 10,000 आपकी इनकम में ऐड नहीं होगा, आपको 90,000 ही आपके एसेट की वैल्यू मिलेगी. When a person gives incentives like other than discount rebate in the form of cash or coin like car, TV, computer, gold coin, mobile phone, 194R would be applicable. This applies to all the service providers, especially doctors. Then buy one get one free, which is kind of a 50% rebate. 194R will not be applicable. Free samples that you get, 194R would be applicable. So I hope it gives you a little bit of clarity. Then reimbursement, any expenditure which is the liability to carry out the business or profession. So you can say get a reimbursement over it if the TDS has been deducted in it. So if the invoice is in the name of you, then there is no applicability of TDS. Now there are situations for us when there are dealer conferences where companies organize seminars to educate doctors. Free CME रख लेते हैं ना, Glaxo कई बारी और भी बहुत सारी कंपनीज होती हैं. So Glaxo usually comes to my mind. Cipla also most of the times. In those cases where the dealer holds a conference and you can say educates the doctors, and after that there is food and liquor and fellowship, whatever it is, on that case there is no applicability of 194R. The government has already thought of every, you can say, benefit. Of course, this will have further amendments when this gets applicable. So expenses attributed to a leisure trip or a leisure component, even if it is incidental to dealer, 194R would be applicable. If in these kind of conferences anything is gifted to you other than food, of course, in kind, that 194R would be applicable. Any expenditure incurred for family members accompanying the person to this conference, if it is outstation, it will be applicable. So these are a few conditions where it is. So let me give you a few examples. An insurance company provides TV set of 50,000 to an agent who clocks an insurance premium of rupees 10 lakhs in 1 quarter. A good performing employee gets a reward from the company for a LED TV. Now this is subject to TDS provision and he has to disclose in his ITR as PGBP, profits and gains from business and profession. An electronic company decides to offer the tour to Dubai for the dealer who purchases 1 crore in 1 year. This is subject to TDS provision and TDS will be done on the basis of market value of the Dubai tour. You can't undervalue tour ki chalo 20,000 ka tour dikha do Dubai ka. 20,000 mein Dubai ka tour is not possible. So the same has to be disclosed by the purchaser also. Then profit gains, business profession, tour packages given to the PG, it was to be written here, sorry. So then tour packages given to health professionals by pharma companies for promoting their medicines. In case this is not as per the law for the doctors to receive, then even the company will not be allowed deduction under the PGBP, profit and gains from business and profession. So I hope it sets you the questions. If anything is not clear to you regarding the PGBP or 194R, you can type your questions in the chat box. I will surely take them up in the end. So number 3 change, which is going to be effective from tomorrow, is the last date of Aadhaar PAN linking was 31st March without cost. Then 500 rupees penalty was chargeable till 30th June. Those who don't link still, they have to now pay 1,000 rupees for linking PAN and Aadhaar from tomorrow onwards. So this is one big change which is going to come from tomorrow. Then credit card different billing cycle. So the RBI has notified that how these things will come into play. The number one thing is they cannot forcibly send the cards to the customers without their consent. Apart from this, now every billing cycle of credit card would be from 11 to 10. 11 to 10, which means if it is, for example, 11th July to 10th of August, the payment for that would have to be made by 31st August or 30th August, month end, because it is a 50-day credit period from the first date. So the RBI guideline has mentioned so that everybody is able to make the payment by the month end. This has been the thought process. So if a customer wants to close a card, the company has to close the same within 7 working days. And if they don't close it, they pay a penalty to the customer at the rate of 500 per day. 500 per day. Of course, they will never take such a chance. They will always close the card first. Then number fifth rule is the Demat KYC rule is all set to change. The deadline to carry out your KYC for Demat accounts was June 30th, following which the accounts are deactivated. Now, what all is the KYC? Demat account में थोड़ा सा difference होता है. It is not always name, address, and a PAN. It should have a valid email ID. It should have a valid mobile number, and it should have an income range. These three things are extra other than name, address, and PAN in a Demat account. Many times Demat accounts are frozen. If everything is there and just the income range is not there, so the accounts are frozen. So the KYC, if your KYC for Demat is pending, no wonder your Demat account might be inoperable from tomorrow. It may be invalid. Then another big change which is going to come from tomorrow, although a few of the notifications have not yet come from the government, but a few have already been notified with the accent of Honorable President of India. So they most likely will be coming out in the first week only, but they'll be applicable from retrospective date. The problem is, I think this has to do with the Agnipath scheme only, which did not meet with a very good reaction from the public side. It was, in my purview, it was a very reasonably good scheme, but of course, it did not meet the desired reaction, and it was all the reactions and all the violence was based on a supposition only. And I don't see anything wrong. A 21, 23, 25-year-old getting a 12 lakh tax-free income in his hand to start his career afresh along with a diploma and degree and along with a chance to get absorbed in any of the companies. What else do you need? The problem at the government end is it's not about the expenditure, why Agnipath was launched. All these things which the Modi government is doing, majority of them have been the brainchild of Manmohan Singh government. But unfortunately, because of the coalition government, they didn't have the balls to actually put it into action. Aadhaar was, Manrega was all Dr. Manmohan Singh's idea. But if not implemented, what is the point in that? Even this tour of duty was Dr. Manmohan's idea and Dr. Manmohan and his team's idea. Because the average age of Indian Army personnel right now is 32, which is not so young. You need agile and fit people. Not that they are not fit. I'm not disrespecting Army in any way. But again, it is a personal choice. I'm just telling you my opinion. With this scheme, the average, you can say, age of the personnel would drop down to 26. And again, if the army is supporting such a scheme, there has to be something good in it. But the public chose to react otherwise, fueled by something, anything adverse, anything new always meets with an adverse reaction. But there was no point in torching the railway trains and you can say destroying public property. My station, my town was also one of those towns which was destroyed by the mob, Ludhiana. So it is very unfortunate that people don't react. So this is the reason probably the government hasn't brought about this notification, or maybe they'll brought it about in a silent way like the farms laws only. So what are the, you can say, codes are which are going to change? The 4 new labor codes have been finalized by the government of India, of course, under the Ministry of Labor and Employment. So they have amalgamated 29 labor laws into 4 labor laws. And wages security, social security, and health security for 50 crore workers have already been made sure. And this is the, you can say, the picture on the top. Now, what all things are going to come? The basic rules of social security, occupational safety, wages have already been notified under the President's Act. The other thing which would be coming would be a 4-day work week, the Western culture. The number of hours remain the same, 48 hours in a week. Get it done in 5 days, get it 5 days at 8 hours per day or 4 days at 12 hours per day. It is huge, I know, but then the companies have been given the flexibility. It is not a mandatory system, but you can switch those 48 hours to 4 days, giving a mandatory 3-day off. I was talking to a patient in the evening today. He said he is an IT professional based in Gurgaon, living in my town. So he thanked COVID rather. He said because of COVID, I was able to attend to my dad, his dad was almost my dad's age. He also passed away last year. He said because of COVID, I could be with him when he was not well, when he was well, when he was not well, when he needed care, and when he passed away. So all the time, thanks to COVID, he was here. So he said, anyways, I am working 12 hours a day. So doesn't mean all IT professionals are almost working 11 to 12 hours a day. So we'll be happy with this law rather, that we at least get 3 offs in the week. So employees can opt for a 12-hour day followed by 3 offs. 12-hour day for 4 days, 48 hours, followed by 3 offs. So working hours from 9 hours, including the lunch time, can become 12 hours, including the lunch time and the supper time or whatever. I'm not sure if they're making it 12 hours, they may have to provide an evening meal as well, or maybe something related to that by the staff or by the organization. I'm not sure about that, but those are fine tuning when the laws are notified. The fine print comes later on. So if some company opts for a 12-hour shift, they will have to deal with 3 mandatory offs after 4-day week. So total working hours will remain the same, 48 working hours. Number 3 is eligibility for leave. So earlier the law required that you need to have at least 240 working days in the year to ask for leave. Now considering those proportionately from 5 to 4, it has been reduced to 50% of the year. So 180 working days, I would say it is a little more than Supreme Court. The Supreme Court hardly works for 6 hours or 5 hours, I would say, and they have 157 working days in the year. 157, which is practically, you can say, 1/3. So they start at 10, they take a tea break at 11:30, they come at 12, 12:15, and then they take a lunch break at 1. They never come back at 2, they maybe come at 2:15, and depending upon the judge sahab's mood, they wind up at 3:30. And this applies to major of the high courts also in India. They are the most, you can say, privileged ones, I would say. Not saying anything wrong about them, but they are the most privileged ones. So the quantum of leaves will remain the same, but you can get a leave for every 20 days of work instead of 45, which is a good news. But another important aspect which many employees would welcome, their take-home salary will go down, because now the contribution to the PF would be mandatory as 50%. Under the labor laws, the provident contribution is contributed to be a minimum of 50% of the gross pay. Many people were already doing it, but yes, now they would be mandatorily required to do it. So the take home would be less. In a way, the government is encouraging savings and investment only. So then, along with that, there may be a fifth change of an earned leave policy. So number of holidays may be increased to 450 in the new code. At present, there are 240 to 300 holidays in different departments. So maybe those could be increased. Number 7 are the new debit card rules, which are going to be applicable from, you can say, they were supposed to be from tomorrow, but last I read, the 2 days back, it has been maybe extended to October 1st. This was concerning the tokenization. Usually the online purchases that we make, basically all these rules, some of them are very good. They have been made to ensure the card safety because of the fraud increasing every other day. We hear about so many cases. So the card, debit and credit card tokenization rules have changed. The banks found the time to be less from April to June. So they requested, probably they have extended to October 1st now. But yes, it is in tow. The merchants are now barred from storing customer card data in their servers. Flipkart, Amazon, or wherever you make your online purchase, now you have to re-enter your CVV and your one-time password, which comes via message at that point of time. But yes, tokenization is totally optional. If you decide to save your card, it is totally your risk. Or else you have to enter the details every time. I would encourage that rather than saving on the server, because you never know which computer you are using, it may be compromised. So it is always better to enter the fresh details every time. unless the site is a really a secure one. But even the bank site can get hacked even in Western world. So you cannot be really sure of the you can say intruders who can intrude in your private space or in your money space, wealth space. So the RBI has made mandatory of the, you can say, application of the soft tokens for domestic online purchases. Because at one point of time now, when the digitalization is to be into action, the budget also announced the launch of a digital rupee as well, in line with the cryptocurrency. So we need to remember. Then there is one another thing in pipeline when you can make payments like BhimPay or UPI payments without the use of internet also. That is also in the pipeline. That will also going to come very very soon. So it will be stored as an encrypted token, as a soft token, to help customers make secure transactions. This is about your safety only. The government, RBI, and all those agencies are working day and night to ensure that how can they minimize the fraud part. Of course, if you go on disclosing, I was attending a quiz with my daughter today morning only on economics, and there was a very good question. Said you can disclose your OTP to number one option was to family member, number two obedient son, number three obedient daughter, and number four none. So my daughter said, "Papa, मैं तो obedient daughter हूँ, मैं भर सकती हूँ?" नहीं, you can't. You have to file none only in this, as per the question. Otherwise, you can get the answer wrong if you are attempting that quiz. So okay, fine. I'll fill in none only. So these tokens will allow the payment to be made without disclosing the customer details. The interface is not there. So the original card data is by encrypted digital token, which will be renewed every time. It is a soft token, so it will get over with one-time purchase, and every time you have to enter a new data, and a new token would be originated. So technically, a very safe bet when you are purchasing online, because online is a very dark world. There is only one way of sending money. There is rarely a way of getting the money back. So now from July 1, unless the customer decides to save them, the merchants will have to delete customers' debit and credit card data from their records. Of course, the card tokenization system is not mandatory from the customer end. You can still choose to save your details, but then the risk is totally yours. You have no one to blame to. If the government is giving you a facility, you should take it. So as of now, you enter only the OTP sometimes or only the CVV because your card is saved. In that case, you have to enter the 16-digit number, the name displayed on the card, and then the CVV or the OTP, whatever as per your system. Usually, most of the cards mandate both of the things. So the tokenized system is totally free of cost. It is just to make sure that the security that one gets is better than what has been the situation before. So also this system is applicable only to domestic online transactions and not to international transactions. Remember, in the last you can say financial year, the government actually reset all the credit and the debit cards. You had to enable them from your net banking. Suddenly you could not pay online. Suddenly you could not swipe, pay, dip or tap online or even offline. You could not withdraw, you can say make any purchases. You only could withdraw the money from the ATM. But for all those merchant transactions, you had to enable the bar or the slider in your net banking, and then your cards got active. Again, a good gesture by the government of India, I would say, or the RBI. So this has been, again, most of the credit card and the debit cards are now enabling 2FA, second factor authentication, which actually increases the safety part. If you remember, in one of the sessions I've shown you and told you about the machine, the soft token machine. Federal Bank net banking gives you a facility of a soft token. I got it in, if I'm not wrong, 2013 or 14. It's 8 or 9 years back. I still use it. Most of you who have attended my workshops, you make your payments through the Federal Bank account only of mine. So my net banking is secured in that sense because of the use of a soft token. It is like a 2FA only. Does not require a password, but yes, the path is to make sure that nobody else can enter it. only I can enter through that system, and nobody can log in without that soft token only. Or if that soft token, if I'm outstation not carrying it, then I can enable the OTP, and after that it will again shift to the soft token. The only thing is sometimes बच्चे अगर खेलते हो soft token से बार बार बटन दबा दें तो वो you can say unsync हो जाता है. So I have to sync it again by entering 2 OTPs immediately from that. So that's absolutely normal, but you can sync it within you can say 2 minutes or so. One of those digits is visible for 30 seconds only. So number 8 is online brokers and platforms. You can say now have got some time. This was supposed to come in effect from 1st April. This comes also into effect from 1st July now. Under the new SEBI guidelines, you can't pool the investors' money and you can't pool the mutual fund units in the broker's account. This is for those who are buying regular way. This is for those who are buying the regular way, and they have been stopped to can say stop pooling money. And because of this, in the past 3 months, SEBI had banned the NFOs as well, new mutual fund offers. If you saw, there were no offers in the month from April to June because of this reason only. So stop pulling those accounts, those who are doing the broker way or the regular way. So from 1st July, funds would be directly credited into investors' account and debited from the money debited from the investors, you can say bank account. So only the portfolio managers who are registered with SEBI have been exempted from this rule. Otherwise, any NFOs were banned, pooling of money was banned in the individual brokers, directly customer to customer. Customer to SEBI or customer to NSE and NSE to bank, the units and the payment both. So under the existing system, when you place the order, money from your account is credited to broker's pool account, and from there it goes to the NSE or BSE clearing house, and then credited to mutual fund MCs. Once this pooling is stopped, you can say these funds will move directly from the investor's account to the NSE clearing and not to the broker's account. Again, the units also don't get credited in the broker's account. They will now get credited directly in the investor like you into your account. So the last but not the least, of course, this is not applicable from tomorrow. This was launched 2 or 3 days back only. It was announced in the budget. Now, when we file the ITR, normally the date is July 31 unless extended. Even with late fee or late fine, it has been mandatorily mentioned that 31st March is the last date. You can't file your ITR now after that for the previous financial year. Rather, one financial year previous, which we are filing in the current assessment year. In the previous government's regime, this system was continued. पिछले 5-5 साल के लोग रिटर्न भरते थे. Demonetization में many people took an advantage of this fact, and पिछले 5 साल के रिटर्न में इनकम दिखा के भर के लोगों ने अपनी ब्लैक को व्हाइट इनकम किया, बहुत लोगों ने, because this was there. Now, अब वो बैक में जाके अगर आपको भरना है तो आपको ITR U enable करनी पड़ेगी. ITR U is now uploaded on the website only for ITR 1 and ITR 4. उसके टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस दिए हैं गवर्नमेंट ने. फॉर द प्रीवियस 2 years एक नया सेक्शन डाला 139(8)(a) एंड दिस इज नोन एज ITR U. दे हैव रेफर्ड टू डिटेल्स इन द न्यू सेक्शन. डाउनलोड क्लिक करके डाउनलोड फॉर द रिस्पेक्टिव AY एंड यू कैन अपलोड द सेम आफ्टर प्रिपेयरिंग द ITR. So this is how it looks like. All of you must have seen ITR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is ITR U. This is the latest addition in the gadgets of, you can say, accessories of Income Tax Department of India. So there are reasons where you can file it. Everybody can't get up and just file the return in the back date. So within 2 years of the previous assessment year, you can file it. It was mentioned in the budget 2022 this year. So even after 24 months, you can file it. But then it comes with a penalty. There will be an additional tax of 25 to 50% on the tax and interest owed on the extra income. You will ask how? Anyways, आपको 1% सिंपल इंटरेस्ट के हिसाब से 12% तो वैसे ही पड़ जाता है अगर आप मार्च में फाइल करते हैं तो. 1 साल और लेट हो गया तो 24 बन गया वो. 1 साल और लेट हो गया तो ऑलरेडी 36 बन गया. उसको उन्होंने 25 to 50 का रेंज दे दिया, बिकॉज आपका टैक्स तो तब से ड्यू है ना, सिंपल इंटरेस्ट नहीं लगाया होगा, कुछ ना कुछ और कंपाउंडिंग ऐड किया होगा. दिस इज द रीजन, अदरवाइज इट कुड हैव बीन 24 to 36 एक्स्ट्रा ओनली. So who can file ITR-U? Return previously not filed, you can file. अब बैकडेट में करो फाइल, देखो पेनल्टियां बढ़ती. जो लोग नहीं करते हैं अब सबको जागना पड़ेगा. AIS टाइटन हो चुकी है, सब इंटरेस्ट आ चुके हैं, और अगर पिछले साल के ब्लैक मनी को एडजस्ट करना तो ITR-U फाइल करनी पड़ेगी. यू कांट फाइल द नॉर्मल ITR. You can file the normal ITR only for the current assessment year or the previous financial year, I mean. So then income not reported correctly. ब्लैक इनकम दिखाई थी, मतलब वाइट कम दिखाई थी, ब्लैक ज्यादा थी. अब जाओ बैक डेट में पेनल्टी पे करो, ऑफिशियली पेनल्टी पे करो. रॉन्ग हेड्स ऑफ इनकम चोजन, रिडक्शन ऑफ द कैरिड फॉरवर्ड लॉस, कि मेरा लॉस इतना नहीं था, कम था, चलो आ जाओ. अनअब्सॉर्ब डेप्रिसिएशन, टैक्स रेट अंडर वेरियस सेक्शंस, रॉन्ग रेट ऑफ टैक्स आपने अप्लाई किया. Who cannot file ITR-U? If there is a return of a loss, गेन से आप लॉस पे जाना चाहते हैं, सॉरी नॉट अलाउड. आपने गेन शो कर दिया, अब दिखाना चाहते, सीए ने बोल दिया थोड़ा कम कर दो. CAs are going to have a big headache now explaining this fact to their clients. I have been educating you regularly. Many or majority of the CAs have not been doing this to their clients. They only say आप क्यों चिंता करते हो, हम बैठे हैं ना. Even my workshop participants have a tough time when they ask for their own password of their PAN to log in and check their 26AS or AIS. Most of the participants don't have it because they haven't used it. It has been used by their CAs only. तो जेनरिक पासवर्ड रखा होता सबका, उन्होंने अपने ऑफिस में पैन नंबर डाल के जेनरिक पासवर्ड डाला एंड यू कैन लॉग इन. देन डिक्रीजिंग द टोटल टैक्स लायबिलिटी, थोड़ा इनकम को कम दिखाओ, यू कांट डू दैट. ज्यादा कर सकते हो, कम नहीं कर सकते बैक डेट में जाके. If it results in refund or increases the refund due on the basis of returns finished. Refund बढ़ाता है आपका, you can't file. तो वही हो गया ना, इनकम कम करो तो रिफंड बढ़ जाएगा. So if an updated return has been furnished already, आपने पहले रिवाइज रिटर्न भर दी है, एक नॉर्मल होती है, उस वक्त आपने करेक्शन करके रिवाइज भर दी, आप उसको रिवाइज करना चाहते हैं, नॉट अलाउड. So any प्रोसीडिंग इज पेंडिंग अगेंस्ट यू, कोई रीअसेसमेंट के लिए कोई आपको लव लेटर आया हुआ है, उसके कंसर्न में आप एक्शन लेना चाहते हैं, नॉट अलाउड. सो गवर्नमेंट ने अपना सारा सिस्टम तैयार कर लिया. हम लोग पिछड़ गए हैं, हम लोग पीछे रह गए हैं, जो लोग अवेयर नहीं थे इन चीजों के बारे में. एंड देयर आर सो मेनी थिंग्स वी नीड टू बी ऑल अवेयर ऑफ, rather than wasting our time on the FB reels and all those stuff or Instagram chats or whatever we are doing, wasting time. Of course, other than work I'm talking. So we need to be educated, learned, literate to have an advantage of all these facts which are actually happening. So if you see the to-do list, you can simply write so many things, which is a huge number. You don't know where to start from sometimes. So how to handle too much changes? अपने आप को उस सिचुएशन में रंग लो, like the chameleon. That is the only way. Whether you like it or not, the changes will be happening, and the changes will be happening for good, unless the government decides to revise it. The government had a very clear-cut agenda when they made RDs taxable in 2016. There, Mr. Jaitley mentioned it very clearly. We have to bring at least 25% of the population under the tax net. There is no way we can believe that only 5% of India is earning and paying tax. 25 was a huge call, a tough call, I would say. Even if they reach 12 to 13 to 14% by this financial year, I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy. Because whatever you say, हम लोग मान के चलते हैं ना कि ये डायरेक्ट टैक्स होता कितना है, इनकम टैक्स आई मीन टू से. इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स, एक भिखारी जो मंदिर के बाहर बैठता है, वो भीख मिलती है उसको 5 रुपए 10 रुपए, वो उससे जाके ग्लूकोज का बिस्किट खरीदता है, लेट्स सपोज टू ओवरकम हिज हंगर. उस ग्लूकोज के बिस्किट पे भी वो जीएसटी दे रहा है. so, अगर देश का भिखारी भी जीएसटी दे रहा है तो कौन नहीं दे रहा? दैट इज द आर्गुमेंट. बट आई डोंट टेक आर्गुमेंट्स विदाउट नंबर्स. I had done the budget analysis after the finance minister's speech in budget 22 on 31st Jan. I'd done a budget analysis. One of the Thunder Thursday session, I think session number 5 or 6 was there. What I had shown in that was, चाहे 4, 5, 6% लोग direct tax भरते हैं, the contribution of direct and indirect taxes to the economy of India was close to 50% each. And if that rings a bell in your head, beware, beware. If this number can be just doubled, this means we can easily have a 2/3 share of the taxes just from direct taxes. Of course, the consumption is going to come down because of the inflation factor, because lesser money is now available in the hands of consumers. So inflation down आएगी, GST के numbers जो 150, 40, 60 करोड़ पहुंच रहे हैं, वो भी नीचे आएंगे थोड़ा सा in the coming months. The consumption may again pick up in the festival season, but right now it is going to come down for the next 2-3 months at least. You'll get the GST figures tomorrow. और जीएसटी नंबर्स टुमारो की इस जून के महीने में कितना हुआ. जून में शायद इतना इम्पैक्ट नहीं दिखेगा, बस जुलाई में श्योरली दिखेगा आपको ऑन द जीएसटी कंजम्पशन पार्ट. सो द कंट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द डायरेक्ट एंड द इनडायरेक्ट इज 50% ईच. डोंट अंडर एस्टिमेट द पावर ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्सेस. अगर हम लोग थोड़ा सा रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो गए, अपना टैक्स पे कर दें, इट ऑटोमेटिकली मेक्स अस इक्वल पार्टनर्स. Now only 5-6% are cribbing and clenching their teeth when protesters are burning the public property in the name of Agnipath or in the name of farm laws or in the name of anyone. I'm not singling out anyone. I'm not debating anything. I'm not negating anyone. I'm just giving an example. When the public property is destroyed in any name, it is the taxpayer who feels hurt the most. The carry home gyan for today, of course, the rules will keep on coming. The basic avenues will keep on changing, but the early birds will always catch the worm. So don't procrastinate and start. If you're waiting for that perfect time, it is a myth. नाना करते सोचते सोचते 6 महीने 2022 के भी बीत गए आज. If you did not realize, 3 महीने 22-23 के भी बीत गए. So every time is a good time to start whenever you're making a fresh start. So again, finally, it is all about choices. Make sure you make good ones in your life. So thank you so much for a patient hearing, and I hope this session was of some worth to you about the changes that are going to come into action. And I hope I have stuck to my time. Yes, a little less than 10 minutes, a little less than 60 minutes only. But yes, all the 3 sessions went in the range of exact 60 minutes or little less. That is the achievement for me, because the Monday and the Thursday sessions were intended to go long. So this is my WhatsApp community where you are, many of you are a part of it. The links were shared with you. You are in the Zoom room with me. So any one of you watching on FB wants to be, or on YouTube later on, wants to be a member of my community, this is an advertisement-free community, you can become a part of it. Very soon we'll be transitioning from 256 to 512 format in the coming week or so. And then the system will reboot to a 3.0 version. And then different things will come. Of course, the Mondays and the Thursday lives are over now. So this is my YouTube channel. This is going to take a breather now after 2 hectic years and almost close to 500 videos now. I'm going to take a breather in this regard. Maybe short videos will keep on coming, but in a different avatar for sure. So if you are yet not a subscriber, do subscribe to the channel, because I keep on posting videos. You'll get a lot of videos. In the past 48 hours only, you have had more than 5 videos. So do send me your feedback on the FB page, on my channel, YouTube channel, wherever you watch it, or in the WhatsApp group, or on my personal number, wherever you wish to. Bookers and big bats both will be welcome in equal measure, and I'm saying it for one last time in this season. So thank you so much, and I stopped my share for, you can say, acknowledging the visitors on my FB page first, and then I'll be taking up the queries from any one of you in the chat box, and of course doing it in that sense. So hello Dr. Ramchandra sir, hello Amit Saigal ji, hello Dr. Sonia, hello Dr. Shiv S.P. Singh ji, hello Dr. Shivdayal Kedia, hello Dr. Chinmay Hazarika, pleasant surprise, hello Dr. Renuka, thank you Dr. Ramchandra sir. So I hope this session was a little bit beneficial for you in various regards. So let me just check. Yeah. Hello, Dr. Amit. Who else I missed out? Okay, Dr. Renuka, hello. Okay, so let me get back to it. So thank you, Dr. Deep, for these for your feedback. Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Siddharth. Uh, Dr. Mustafa asked, are these 48-hour work week include lunch times as well? Practically no. Practically no. Because in 8-hour work week, usually they don't count it. But again, it differs from organization to organization. Some government organizations do count it, but some private organizations do not count it. So it is a variable thing. They make, ये कहते हैं ना इतनी सी हेराफेरी तो अलाउड होती है, इतनी सी हेराफेरी So thank you, Dr. Poonam ma'am, for your feedback. Yes, guys, any queries, anyone wants to ask anything, please switch on your camera, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask anything that is not clear from any of the sessions that happen in the morning, afternoon, or evening. It's not short. Yes, Sabyasachi, even I will miss my lives. Even I was saying welcome to this edition of Weekly Lives. I have made it a habit to, I said the same line 52 times in this year. So it has become a habit for me as well. So yes, I will also miss the life, but then all good things come to an end one day. You have to learn to accept the fact that's okay. There are further goals in life. Who knows? Whatever comes next your way would be beneficial for you even more than this. Who knows? So stay tuned and believe in the power of universe. Yes, Dr. Deep. Unmute yourself and ask.
सर आई वांट टू आस्क सर, जो लोग टैक्स भरते ही नहीं है बट उनका 5 लाख के ऊपर इनकम है, सर उनका भी एआईएस बनता होगा?
एआईएस सबका बनेगा, जिसका पैन नंबर है उस सबका एआईएस जनरेट होगा। हर एक का अकाउंट तो होगा ना, बैंक अकाउंट होगा तो सेविंग की इनकम आएगी। मैं कहता हूँ और कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट ना हो उसकी, कुछ भी ना किया हो, बैंक अकाउंट का इंटरेस्ट तो आएगा ना। और अगर कोई उनकी फैमिली में उनका हस्बैंड, उनका स्पाउस या उनका बेटा या कुछ भी इनकम उनकी छुपा रहा है, लेट्स सपोज, तो वो मूर्ख होएगा अगर उनके नाम पे इन्वेस्ट नहीं किया होगा, तो वो भी किया होगा विदाउट समटाइम्स द पैन होल्डर नोइंग अबाउट इट। सो दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस थिंग।
तो सर अपन ने अगर उनका मतलब टैक्स फाइल हुआ ही नहीं कभी भी, तो भी उनका एआईएस अपन डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल, एआईएस इज अवेलेबल फ्रॉम 1920। 1920 वाली कंप्लायंस पोर्टल पे अलग तरीके से अवेलेबल है, उस कंप्लायंस पोर्टल पे जाके करना पड़ता है। 2021, 21, 22 is available directly from AIS link which I shared with you in the morning.
Okay, sir.
Frankly speaking, I did not check whether वो 1920 वाली इसके साथ align हो गई है कि नहीं। 1920 मेरी past उसके हिसाब से it is still you can say is available from the compliance portal only. Is my screen frozen or yours?
So for me, yours.
Okay. So 1920, I did not check whether the drop-down menu contains or has been merged or not, but 1920 was available on the compliance portal separately. This is available from the different download link, 21, 22, and 2021. So luckily, as I said, the improvements are there. In 14 months, they have made available 3 AIS, which is not a small thing. Not a small thing. See the entries made in any kind of AIS. There are duplicate entries as well. The companies have first made it the calculated value, the derived, the processed value, the derived value, and the reported value. There have been different numbers. Then once they cross check and report it, they make the previous entry inactive. Imagine the amount of effort. It is all with the cooperation of the reporting agencies only, the banks, the NBFCs, and all those. If they are not reporting, how will the government come to know? How will the IT department come to know? But then the time was already there since the past one and a half years when I had been warning everyone. So it is the time to come to the system and show your actual income. Ultimately, it is going to benefit us only because we show more in white, we invest more in white. That is the bottom line. But if we don't realize that, we are digging a grave for ourselves only. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. I really enjoyed listening to all the knowledge and
Thank,
everything. Thank you so
thank
much,
you,
sir.
thank you so much. Any more questions? Okay, then if there are no questions, let's call it a day. And of course, if anything urgent, I'm not sure, but yes, we'll surely meet on 12th of August for videos for sure. There'll be two webinars that day for sure, minimum. Can be three, can be two, but depends upon what exactly is the schedule along with the, you can say, at that point of time. Last year, I remember my consent workshop had started on 9th of August. Still, there were sessions on that day. There were two sessions on that day. So yes, you have to take out time for these things when you have planned it. So almost 1.5 month break, and we meet for the next video on 12th of August, not before that. So these videos will come after a few days on YouTube channel. I'll keep sharing the link because this is going to be a transition phase, as I'll be, you can say, condensing the groups from 6 to 3. So let's see how things go and what all comes up for you in the reboot phase after 10th of July. So bye bye, take care, have a great weekend ahead, and best of the best of the best of the second half of the calendar year for all of you. Thank you so much. Take care. Good night. Shabba khair.